Hi everyone. In this video I'm going to show you how I sublimated this tumbler using the new sublimation bundle from Sub. So let's get started. So here's what it looks like. You're going to get all of your inks. I already opened mine. I had to fill my tanks because they were empty. But you're going to get all your inks. You're going to get 4 syringe tips. They also send you some gloves and a sublimation mouse pad and 110 sheets of sublimation paper. So that is what you get in the bundle. So I only filled my tanks halfway so that I could do this video. Alright, so I'm guessing from the instructions that they're wanting you to open the printer and fill it from the inside. That's what I'm understanding from the instructions. So that is what I'm going to do. We'll see. Alright, so as you can see, my tanks, well, they're less than half. So, alright, so to open your printer, you're going to lift up that keypad area. And you have 2 screws up in each far corner. You're going to unscrew those. They are a Phillips head, so you're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver. Once you have those unscrewed, then just lift up the top. Try not to lift it up all the way. And then you're going to need a pen or something to prop it open with. I just use the screwdriver. And this is just showing that I put it in an area that doesn't mess with any of the inner workings of the printer. Alright, so you have your little tanks. And there's a clip on the back, so push that clip in and then the tank pulls right out. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I think they're wanting us to do it. And as you can see, it doesn't work too well for me, so I'm going to show you how I do it. So these are the little syringe tips that they send you. They're hollow. They send you 4, 1 for each color. Alright, so now you're going to take your bottle of ink and you're going to twist that tip onto the bottle itself. It just twists right on there. I apologize for the snoring dog. If you've been watching me since the beginning, you know Apache and his snoring. But today he's being especially loud. So from what it looks like on the instructions, they're wanting you to fill it in from right here, but it just comes out way too fast and it overflows. It did fill that tank up just a little bit, and I think I didn't do my research. I should have before I did this, but I think that little tank is like for the overflow maybe, but it did fill that tank up a little bit. That's not your main tank. it did fill it up a little bit, but it just kept overflowing and it was getting really messy. So I watched a video on YouTube, and I found one, and the lady filled her tanks up this way. And she also drained her tanks this way as well. So she just gently pulls that little tubing off of that inner tank. You want to work it off very gently and slowly. You don't want to tear it or crack it. So just work it very slowly. And so I tried doing it this way, and the needle was too small or too thin, so it overflowed that way as well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take their tip off that they sent, and I have some syringes and some tips that I got on Amazon. So I'm going to try those. So I have one that's like the one they sent, but it's a little bit bigger, and it fits inside of that tubing perfectly. So we're going to give that a try. I wanted to try and show the way they're trying to explain on the instructions. I wanted to show y'all that way. And maybe some of y'all see something that I'm missing or not understanding, and maybe you'll have better luck with it. But I didn't have any luck filling it up this way. So this is the tip that they sent, and this is the one that I have. So you can see a size difference. So now I'm going to try putting the tip that I have onto the bottle, and it fits on there. It works that way as well, and it fits perfectly into there, but nothing was coming out. My tanks weren't filling up. I was squeezing the bottle and it felt like ink was coming out, but the tank, I was looking at the little window in the front, and it wasn't, the ink level wasn't moving. So I'm not sure what happened there. So now I'm going to try something different, because now this is just getting messy, and you want to make sure that you have a ton of paper towels. It's getting messy. Luckily the ink wipes off your hands pretty easily, but it was a mess. So what I did was I took that rubber top off of the bottle. I grabbed a syringe. I attached my applicator, or my syringe tip, to the syringe, and then I just got the ink straight out of the bottle, stuck it into the tubing, and it worked perfectly. So I'm not sure what the difference is between the bottle and the syringe, but using a syringe worked perfectly, and it was less messy as well. So I said you can also drain your tanks this way. So instead of pushing the ink in, you just put your empty syringe into that tubing and pull your ink out, and that drains your tanks. So if you ever have to do that, that's an easy way to do it. Make sure that you're putting the right ink color into the right tank. So if I had a bigger syringe, This would have gone a lot quicker, but as you can see, the ink levels went up. And then once you get done, you just rinse your syringes out, let them air dry, and then they're ready to go for the next time. Make sure all your tubing is plugged back in, make sure it's in there securely, and then close your lid and put those 2 screws back in, and then you're all done. So another way you can do this is when you first bought your Epson printer, it came with ink. So you can pour that regular printer ink out and put your sublimation ink into these bottles. And those nozzles on the ends of those bottles fit perfectly. So you don't have to open your printer. You can do it straight. You can just inject your ink directly into the tank. So if you still have those bottles, save them. So now I have my image that I'm going to put on my cup. I got it on Etsy. Make sure that if you use different brands of cups, make sure that you measure each different brand, because I use the setting for the cups that I previously had, and the hog cups are a little bit taller than those. So when I put this on my cup, as you'll see here in a little bit, the image was a little bit too short. So make sure that you check your measurements before you print everything out. Alrighty, so I have my settings, my measurements. Now I'm going to go to my settings, and I'm going to go to display. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to switch between my color profiles to see if there's a difference. So I'm just going to call this the standard. This is one that I already had on my computer. I think I downloaded it when I got my Epson printer. I have an Epson 2720. So I downloaded this from the Epson website. Color profiles just help you get better color for the type of printer that you're using. It sets it to the best color quality, I guess you could say. So right now I'm using the one that I already had installed on my computer, and these are the settings that I use for sublimation. Make sure your mirror image is checked and high speed is unchecked. Then go to advanced, and these are the settings that I use. So once I double check, I always double check it before I print, and then I'm going to print it out. So now I'm going to print out a second one, and I'm going to change the color profile, and this is the color profile that was sent to me when I was asked to do this video. So now I'm going to check my printer settings again, just to make sure. I've never had to switch between color profiles before, so I'm really not sure if I'm doing this right or not. So I just wanted to double check and make sure everything stayed the same. Alright, so that one is the one that I already had, the color profile, and that one is the profile that was sent to me. It's just a file that you download onto your computer. So, I mean, they look pretty much the same to me. So now I'm going to trim up all the white areas. Anything that is not part of the design, I'm going to trim off. So as I said, the design was a little short. Width-wise, around the cup, it was fine. But height-wise, it was a little short, so I tried to center it. And this is how I tape my cups. And I'm pulling the tape as tight as I can, and I'm following the direction of the paper. I'm also pressing that seam down. That releases any air and gives you a tighter seal. And this is I'm marking this is the profile that was sent to me. That way we can tell them apart. So when you get a new printer, or if you have a printer and you haven't done it already, just Google Epson 2720 color profiles, and something should come up to where you can download it onto your computer. I really didn't think that they were necessary, but apparently they make a big difference. They just give you better color quality, so and I'm putting the seam of my shrink wrap along where the painter's tape is. That way, if I have to cut with my X-Acto knife, I won't damage the cup. And I know not everyone uses shrink wrap, and that's okay. It's personal preference. Alright, so now it is time to unravel the cups. So this is the color profile that was sent to me. As you can see there, I mean, everything came out gorgeous. The black is black, all the colors, everything. My seam was a little off, but that has nothing to do with that. Everything, the coloring, everything is as it should be. So this is the one that, the color profile that I had on my computer already. But all in all, I would use this paper and this ink. The ink that I previously had in my printer was Printer's Jack. I had no issues with it, but this, I didn't have any issues with this either. The only issue I had was filling the ink. That's it. Everything else, the colors are gorgeous. The paper was good. I didn't have any issues with it. So, I mean, I would recommend this bundle. I know a lot of you already used this ink and this paper. It worked for me. So, thank y'all for watching. Bye, everyone.